If you have knee pain, then I want to show you how to stop knee pain now. And the good news is it can take you as little as 5 minutes. Now, before I show you the moves that will help you loosen up the muscles that often contribute to knee pain, I want to talk a little bit about why this is so important in the first place. You see, when we have knee pain, especially behind the patella right here, what ends up happening is sometimes that tendon is really tight. So all these muscles that pull this direction are really tight, which pull the knee together like this, okay? And what that essentially means is that these muscles right here on the front side of your thigh, your quads are really tight. And they're, again, pulling up on these tendons, and as it comes down, this is forcing the bones to push into each other, which often has bone-on-bone knee pain for a lot of people. And when we have tightness in these muscles, we end up developing knots in these muscles, right? And these are called the quads, as you can see, because there's 4 different muscles here, 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 and here. And so we want to loosen up these muscles, and we want to get rid of the knots, because when we get rid of the knots, what happens? Now, we're not pulling up on these tendons and compressing the joint anymore. Now it's looser, and there's more room for range of motion, which causes the knee to feel a whole lot better. All right, so again, one more thing I want to say about this is why this is so important is because I like to think of muscles as an accordion, right? Every muscle fiber in your body is either relaxed or contracted. But a knot, and especially in the case of the quads, what happens is this: we contract the muscle, and then as we relax, part of it can't unfold. Okay, so it gets caught in a knot and it feels like a lump inside the muscles, right? And so this particular move I'm going to show you how to do is going to help you smooth that back out, regaining length in those muscles, which again is going to allow your knees to glide a lot easier and make them feel a whole lot better. And I should know this, I've literally had 4 knee surgeries on my right knee. You can see some of the scars here, 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 right? And I've had to work my way back up to being able to do things with my body again by doing exactly what I'm about to show you, okay? So the tool we're going to use is called a foam roller. And it's a fantastic way to do self-muscle release that allows you to release these knots we just talked about, creating length inside those quad muscles and making the knee feel a whole lot better. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how to foam roll your quads right now. Give it a shot and watch as your knees start to feel so much better. So first of all, you don't need a fancy foam roller. Anything just on Amazon, a simple white foam roller will do. If you're a beginner, get the white low density foam roller. If you end up getting a high density one like this, it's probably going to be really painful and you're probably not going to like it very much. So first we're going to focus on these 2 parts of the quad, which is the top of the thigh and the right side and the left side, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do this. Start by coming down on your belly and coming down on the inside of the top of your quad. And I like to do this on my elbows like this, and you could bring your other knee outside for support. And make sure you're on a soft surface so you don't end up hurting yourself, right? So just keeping this knee to the side or kind of like this to support it. Now, what I like to do with foam rolling is this: starting right by the knee, not on top of the knee, but right at the base of the muscles, we're going to roll 2 inches down and 1 inch back. Slowly, 2 inches down, 1 inch back, trying to maintain relaxed muscles, walking our elbows and our knee that's supporting us back and forth. And what we're looking for is a spot that feels like really hot, like a trigger point. So once we find that spot, ooh, oh my gosh, I found that spot right there. Now take a moment in that position, take a deep belly breath in, exhale and try to relax. If you feel like it's very persistent, you can kind of rock the leg back and forth like this, which will usually cause it to feel a little more uncomfortable. But then we pause again after a couple rocks. Deep belly breath, relax again. Good. You can even twist the foot from side to side. Sometimes that helps find the spots in that knot that really need to be released. Big belly breath in and relax. And we're just waiting until that muscle just goes, ugh, and softens, all right? And then once it softens, we're gonna go repeat that process. 2 inches up, 1 inch back, working our way all the way up to the top of our hip. So we're trying to feel right underneath our hip bone right here in the pelvis, okay? So come all the way up on the inside of your thigh and then rotate your body just a little bit. I like to just take my arm and lift it up like this. And now we're gonna go down the inside, or the outside, sorry, of the top of your thigh. Again, 1 inch down, 2 inches, or sorry, 2 inches down, 1 inch up, trying to find that same type of trigger point. And you might have a lot, that's totally fine. Focus on the ones that feel the most in need of help and focus on those for now. Over time, you'll get less and less and your quads will start to feel more and more loose. But once you find one, like I got one right there, pause, relax the quad, move the body from side to side, right? Rock the thigh, take some deep belly breaths. Use that physiological sigh to try and relax the muscles. And then once it's good, keep working your way back down to right above the knee at the base of those muscles, all right? So now we've got 2 out of the 4 quads done. The next one we're gonna do is that inner thigh right here. So you're gonna take the foam roller and put it to the outside like this, come back down to your belly, and this time we're gonna put the inside of the thigh right there on top of the foam roller. And what you're gonna do is slowly roll your body this way to accomplish this one. So just like before, 2 inches up, 1 inch back. You might find some really tight spots. On this one, when we find a tight spot, what I like to do is this. Heel comes down to the ground, and then we let the leg rotate up. Heel comes down to the ground, we let the leg rotate up, and usually that's just kind of taking that deep trigger point and just saying, loosen up, and don't forget those belly breaths. We don't want to do this where we're going to 100% intensity, because I don't want you to do this for the first time and be like, I'm never doing that again, or for the muscles to get really tight because we're tensing so much. We want to find points in the body that feel like, oh, they're about 80% bad, and then we relax them until they're 40 or 50%. And remember, if we do this every day, we'll start to loosen up those muscles, and eventually you'll have less knots, and your quads will feel so much smoother, and your knees will absolutely love you for it. And so this one, you're going to work your way all the way up to the inside of the thigh, right there where your pelvis and your hip meet, okay? And if this is still too tight for you, one of the things we can do is we can always turn on our side more and keep our hips more closed rather than more open like this, all right? The more open we are with our hips towards the ground, the more pressure we're gonna put on that inner thigh, and the harder this will be for you. Now the last one is gonna be the outside of the thigh. This one is usually pretty uncomfortable for everybody, so take your time with this one. Same thing we're gonna do, start right above the knee on the outside of the thigh, kind of right here on the top of that muscle. And we're not gonna wanna be fully to the outside, we're gonna wanna be slightly tilted forward. So we're not trying to just roll along that fascial IT band right here, we're trying to roll the outside of the quads. So not just sideways like this, but a little bit forward, okay? From there, we're gonna go 2 inches down, 1 inch up, trying to find those spots that feel really tight, and trying to relax along the way. We're trying to find a lot of relaxation as we come through this. I know when I say a lot of relaxation in this, it might feel hard, because this is challenging usually for people because we have a lot of knots in our thighs, especially for people with aches, pains, and injuries in their knees. So come until you find those positions, and then here, just like before, you can kind of rock forward and backward, which usually helps loosen that section up. Taking those deep belly breaths, and relaxing, and working our way all the way up to the top of that muscle right there. And I'm gonna show you one bonus move right here, because this one's really helped me a lot as well, is once we get to the top where you can feel the edge of the hip bone right there, we can actually skip over that hip bone because we don't want to foam roll bones, and we can come into this spot that's between the hip socket and the hip bone right here, all right? And these little muscles right here that abduct the hip and externally rotate the hip are often tight on people. So skipping over the bone and then finding that spot right there, woo, that can be an amazing spot to loosen up, to help loosen up the hips, which oftentimes help with knees and lower back at the same time. So finding that spot, just coming back and forth, you can rotate a little bit forward, you can rotate a little bit backwards, looking for spots just like you've done before. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, slowly come off of that. Now, if you've followed along and foam rolled one side of your body, I want you to pay attention how this side feels compared to this side. For the most part, it's gonna feel a lot looser, a lot more relaxed, and a lot more flexible at the same time. And if you consistently do this routine, at least a few days a week, you're gonna improve the quality of your muscles, you're gonna improve the length of your muscles, and again, it's gonna make it so that your knees don't grind anymore, and they start to feel a whole lot better. So I highly encourage you, get a foam roller, give this a shot, especially if you have knee pain, and watch as your knees feel so much better.